Have you ever wanted to play Chronicles of Crime, but feel like you're also in the Assassin's Creed universe? Well, now you can with Chronicles of Crime AD 1400, the Millennium Series. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dice Odyssey. I'm Kaz. Today we're going to be talking about just that, Chronicles of Crime in the Millennium Series. And this is one of the first ones, I think it's the first one, AD 1400, where you're basically playing as a knight. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Is it Abelard or what is this guy's name? Yeah, Abelard Laval, and it's taking place in ancient France. I say ancient, but you get my point. It's ancient to me. It's over 500 years ago. But anyway, and you're solving crimes. And in this game, you have things like you can see visions, you know, and you're trying to, and they help you to solve the crimes. And you also have a dog, which is awesome. Kind of like Turner and Hooch. 1400 series. But the one thing that I've always loved about this series is how in-depth the mysteries are that you're trying to solve. Chronicles of Crime, just going to be straight up forward with you, is one of my all-time favorite game series, okay? I have liked every single edition or expansion, I should say, that has come out. Redview was pretty good. It wasn't my favorite. I liked it. I liked the Stranger Things vibe that it gave off. Wasn't as huge a fan of it and compared to the rest of it, but it was still a good expansion. This one promises to do what I've always wanted the series to do, which was go into different time periods and locations. Now, locations is always different, but I'm talking about, like, for example, if you want to go sci-fi or ancient France or any of these other places, because there's other versions of this coming out that have those kinds of themes in them. For example, I've been telling Lucky Duck Games for a while, just sending them messages, hey guys, please tell me you're working on a sci-fi edition that takes place in space, like a space station, a murder on a space station, or Starship or something like that. And from what it looks like, that's what they're going to be bringing out with one of these other expansions that come out. I'm hoping to get that. Now, if you want to know how to play Chronicles of Crime, I mean, this game is not a massive departure from the standard series. You're using the app on the phone, you're checking out crime scenes and things like that. What I'm going to do is give you the pros and the cons that I felt about this particular expansion, and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts on it overall. Now, first of all, the pros. Now, if you've played any Chronicles of Crime game, you're going to be using the app. I'm just going to give you a general brief overview of it. You're going to be using the app, and you're going to be going through and scanning cards of all types. You've got cards for evidence. You've got cards to signify who you're talking to in the game. Locales, location cards, you know, like the sheets that you can lay the characters on top of to say, hey, this person's here, you know, what have you, and I'm going to go question them, talk to them about a murder or a crime that's been committed. If you've played Chronicles of Crime, there's not a massive departure from that. And that's a pro to me because I love the game and I don't want it to be too massively different from another. I'd like a little bit of change up sometimes, it's good, but I like the fact that they keep the game system, generally speaking, about the same as it's always been with some minor changes here and there. I do like the vision cards. I like the idea that you get these visions because whatever reason you're this knight that gets visions, and you, because of that, you're able to kind of see things that might happen in the future or things that have already happened, and you're trying to piece together the clues that you see on these cards, and it does help to some extent when it comes to you trying to solve the case. I also like the fact that you have this dog with you now. You know, in the normal game, a lot of the times you can, you know, kind of go back home or call back home depending on time period, and you can actually say, hey guys, you hit the crime lab, or you know, whatever, somebody who's going to help you, you can call them up and say, hey, I've got this artifact or this piece of evidence. Can you tell me something about it? Or can you tell me something about the people that do live here, or, you know, whoever it is, right? And it's kind of like a home base of operations. Not every one of them has it, but generally speaking, you get some semblance of that, like a police station or what have you. In this, you have it, it's more like, you know, some of your relatives and what have you that know a lot of the town that you can talk to learn about people, learn about different artifacts and things of that nature. But I really like the idea now that they give you a dog that helps you along the way. The dog can sniff items, help you to do some tracking, so to speak, figure out where a person might be who had touched a certain item. I do like the crime scenes, I guess because of the time period, it looks very period piece. You know, looks very much like the time period that it's supposed to represent. I really love how the stories are interwoven together. Some of them, you know, feel like more like one-offs, but I played several of these scenarios, hadn't played them all. I think I've played about 3 of them so far, and I've really enjoyed what I have played of the scenarios that I've played. Now, as you know, with Chronicles of Crime in general, there's going to be, you know, dynamic situations that happen. Somebody you question over here might end up dead later. You might have thought that might have been a murderer or something like that. That's always, well, generally speaking, that's in a lot of the game system. There are going to be some red herrings occasionally in this system. But I feel like they did streamline it to some degree, especially with having that dog on hand. And the dog kind of helps you get back on course. Once in a while, the game itself will kind of, you know, nudge you in a specific direction. You know, a certain dynamic situation may happen. Somebody may come up to you and go, hey, by the way, did you know such and such, or what have you? And so I like the fact that they did streamline it to some degree to help you along the way. Were there any cons in the game? Yeah, there were. I mean, ultimately, the Chronicles of Crime in general tends to be a little bit of a table hog. Not a massive one, but this one definitely felt, if you're on a smaller card table, it's going to fill up fast. Usually you need a little bit of a bigger table to handle all of the, you know, evidence cards that come out, the actual evidence board, you know, the locations that start filling up on the sides of that evidence board, the vision cards, and this, that, and the other. So it can be a tiny bit of a table hog, but it's not too bad. Just know that get that going in. A smaller table is not necessarily going to cut it, especially if you're playing with a few more players, right? Another slight con is that the evidence board, and by the way, there's a pro involved in this too. I like how they situated the evidence board with different colors, showing like maybe, I'm trying to remember exactly how it worked, like evidence that might have gone cold, or you're not as focused on it right now, to evidence that's hot. You know, there's like a red and blue area on that board, and I really like that dynamic. I like the fact it feels like you're putting it up on a whiteboard, and you're going, okay, where does this person go? Where did we find this piece of evidence? It kind of feels that way with that evidence board, but it didn't sit down flat. That was the only con I had. It's a minor con. Production quality is great overall, but it's a minor con that this thing would not always sit down flat. Not a huge deal, but it is something that might bother you if you're OCD about it. So how do I feel about the game overall? I highly recommend it. If you are somebody who's a fan of Chronicles of Crime, I really feel like you're still going to get that same itch that's scratched about you're trying to solve cases, you're still, you know, going and talking to people. And again, it's like you're in the middle of a CSI game, except, you know, 500, 600 years removed from where we are right now. So anyway, that's the review. I highly recommend this game. Definitely get it. Check it out if you love Chronicles of Crime. I do. It's going into my collection. It's staying there. And I love the fact that they're continually supporting this system. And I'm probably going to say this as I keep going, but I am extremely excited about the Millennium Series as we go. I'm excited about the sci-fi edition of the series. Man, Lucky Duck is killing it on this particular game series. But anyway, that's the review. How about you? Do you like Chronicles of Crime? How many of the expansions have you played? Have you played them all? Are you excited about the Millennium Series? Please let me know down in the comments. Thank you again. You have a blessed day, and game away.